सद्गुरु श्री रामानंद परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री शिवानंद परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री शंकर भगवत्पादाचार्य नमः। ओम सद्गुरु नित्यानंद परब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम सद्गुरु श्री वेदव्यास भट्टारकाय नमः। Atma Namaskaram to one and all who have attended the conference. You are all my Guru Swarupa. Today's topic is sixth chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that is Atma Sanyama Yogam or Dhyana Yogam. This why this is called Atma Sanyama Yogam means control of the mind. That's why this chapter is called Atma Sanyama Yogam. And while controlling the mind by doing yogam and meditation, then that's why it is called Dhyana Yogam also. So, what is the link between the fifth chapter and the sixth chapter? Here is this. In sixth chapter, first slokam, Lord Sri Krishna says, Anasita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha Naninagir Nachakriyaha. This is a very important key slokam from 5th chapter to 6th chapter. Without anticipating, without having affection towards the karma phalam, karyam karma karotiyaha. Here Sri Krishna mentions a particular phrase that is called karyam karma. Karyam karma means there is a prescribed karma is there. That prescribed karma has to be done by everybody. By doing that karya karma only, you can be in the state of anasita karma phalam. That means without resorting for the karma phalam, the fruit of the action, if you do this prescribed karma, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha naniragnar nachakriyaha. That person alone is called sannyasi or yogi, not by just stopping the fire karma, that is yajnam, sacrifice, or not doing any action, sitting idly, that is also will never come under this sannyasi. So a sannyasi or yogi, they are both one and the same. In this chapter, Sri Krishna Paramatma is merging everything in this 6th chapter. That is Karma Yogam and Jnana Yogam, Sannyasam, whatever you call now. Till now, there are two words. Hitherto we are hearing all these two terms. Now, Sri Krishna Paramatma is merging all these two things and combined together. He is merging in this Atma Sanyama Yogam, that is the control of the mind. That's why it is called Atma Sanyama Yogam. Without anticipating any karma phala and doing karma means, in the 5th chapter, Sri Krishna Parama says, Yukta karma phalam chakva shantima apnot naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nivajjate. That is a very important slokam in the Bhagavad Gita. That is, Yukta ichuchate, a yogi alone will leave the karma phalam. He will never be anticipating the karma phalam. He will shantima apnot naishtikim. He will get peace of mind in the sadhana. That is told in 5th chapter. So, that is being continued in this 6th chapter. Sri Krishna says, Anasita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha. Here, everywhere, this is a surprising frame that the yogi will alone leave the karma phalam. How can a yogi will leave the karma phalam? That is a common man question. Common man's question is that how can a yogi leaves the karma phalam? That is the important thing. See, how can he leave when a yogi is doing this yoga inside? He will be enjoying the eternal bliss inside. That will be much superior to the sensory pleasure that is being experienced outside. That is the difference between the ordinary man and the yogi. The yogi will be always enjoying inside. How he will be enjoying? When the life force is cleaned. That means when the pathway for the life force to go upwards is cleaned, naturally he will enjoy the bliss. There is no other thing bliss except that freely going of life force upwards alone is called Brahmanandam. That means that is in the process, but after achieving the final stage, he will continue to be enjoying this eternal bliss. See, a person who is doing regularly this pranayama, he will be always enjoying. That is the experience. Mind you, we are doing yoga not to achieve anything. Just while doing itself, you are enjoying. While doing itself you are enjoying. That is the important experience of a yogi. That's why always yogi will abandon all these sensory pleasure. And that way, Lord Sri Krishna, now he is telling that Anasita karma phalam karyam karma karoteha sasanyas. There is another slokam in Amrita Bindu Upanishad. It says that Dadriyasa yadhanasti sampannasya yama yadhamama brahmanande nimagnasya vishasha natad bhavet. There is a wonderful narration here. A rich man will never desire poverty. When he is a rich man, he will never desire poverty. Like that, brahmanande nimagnasya vishasha natad bhavet. A person who is enjoying the eternal bliss will never aspire for this sensory pleasure outside. So that's why yogi will alone leave the karma phalam. Sasanyasi cha yogi cha naniragni nachakriyaha. That person who is doing yogam and leaving all these karma phalas, he alone is called yogi or sannyasi. Both are one and the same. Now he is merging these two terms. Nacha agni nacha kriyaha. Simply by not stopping these external rituals. That means sacrifice, yajna, all these, they will also can be done whether you do it or not, but you should renounce it inside. Here Sri Krishna, what he means is naniragni nacha kriyaha means you need not stop this yajna. In the 18th chapter, he clearly says that yajnadana tapakarma nachajam karimeva tat yajnodana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. That means manishna means karmajam buddhiyukta hi phalam chaktva manishna. In the 2nd chapter, the yogi alone will leave the karma phalas, and for him only whatever the action you do outside, that will be fruitful for the person who is doing and the persons who are entered into that yajna. That means the yajnakarta and the Ritviks, all these will also enjoy this fruit. Yajnadana tapakarma nachajam karyameva tat. You should not leave yajnam or charity dhanam or tapas, other types of tapas also, but those are fruitful and they will never give leads to bondage, only for yogis only. That's why with that meaning only here Lord Sri Krishna naniragnir nachakriyaha. And in the 2nd slokam he clearly mentions that yam sanyasamiti praha yogam tam vidhi pandava nahya sanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavita kaschana. See, in Bhagavad Gita, every slokam is very, very, very important, especially 5th and 6th chapters. They are very important, and in this Lord Sri Krishna is neutralizing every word. Yam sanyasamiti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava. Whatever you call is sannyasam or renunciation, that is yogam only. Whatever you call yogam means that is sannyasam only. There is no difference between yogam and sannyasam. Here in the second chapter, Sri Krishna Paramatma told about this buddhi yogam, and the third chapter he told about this karma yogam, and the fourth chapter he told the same yogam to son and the Raja Parampara, and to evolve the jnana you have to do karma, this yoga karma. Nahi jnanena sadrusam pavitram vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmane. In the fourth chapter he mentions that without yogam you cannot get jnanam. So to get jnanam you have to do yogam. To do external outer karma, to get the results of the outer karma, you have to do yogam. You, in order to fix the Sankhya yogam that told in second chapter, you have to do karma, this yogam. So in that way, the same yogam is being continued in the second, third, fourth, fifth chapters also. In the sixth chapter, he totally merges these things that is yam sannyasa miti prahu yogam tam vidhika pandava. Here yogam and sannyasam, they are one and the same. You need not separate anything. Suppose in the outer world we say that Shiva and Vishnu, they are separate, but sometimes they say they are one and the same, but yet there are so many differences, they will try to take it outside. But Shivasya hridayam Vishnu tad Vishnusya hridayam Shiva ilantaram napashyami tathame swasturaishi. There is one version, Shivasya hridayam Vishnu, that means the Vishnu will be in the heart of the Shiva, that Vishnusya hridayam Shiva, the Shiva will be in the heart of Vishnu. Yadantaram napashyami. When you find there is no difference between these two, tadame sasturaishi, then only you will be quiet and you will be enjoying the bliss inside. So a person who has reached the final goal by doing this yoga sadhana, he can never find the difference between Shiva and Vishnu. Like that, there won't be any difference between yogam and sannyasam. Yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi bandava naihya sannyas sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Yeah, this is also a very misleading answer. That means naihya sannyas sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Without sankalpam, a person never be called as yogi. That means without sankalpa. Here sankalp means desire. Here sankalp means there are so many great yogis like Valmiki Maharshi and Vyasa Maharshi. They wrote so many granthas, so many books, Puranas, and this Bhagavata, Ramayanam, and all these things they were written without sankalpa. How can they write? They got the sankalpas, but they don't have any desire. So here sankalpa means desire. Nahya sanyasa sankalpo yogi bhavata kaschana. A person who is having desire can never be called as yogi. Here he clearly mentions. To achieve this state, he is telling in the third slokam, that is arurukshur muneri yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva samakaranam uchyate. Here also there is a misunderstanding. What Sri Krishna means is arurukshur muneri yogam. Aruruksha means mumukshu, those who seek moksham or salvation. The seeker of this salvation is called mumukshu. Arurukshur muner yogam karmakaram uchyate. For that person, the prescribed karma is yogam only. Yogarudhasya tasyeva samakaranam uchyate. When he has gone to the enthroned state of yogam, that is yogaruda state, then naturally he will stop this yogam. That's why in Trisika Brahmana Upanishad it says, Mumukshubihi pranajayaha kartavyo moksha hetave. If you want to get salvation, you have to conquer the life force. Mumukshubihi pranajaya kartavyo moksha hetave. Like that, in Bhagavad Gita, Paramatma says, Arurukshur Muneri Yoga. Here he is called mumukshu, the seeker of the salvation, for him the yogam is prescribed. That is also karma. Yogam karma karanamuchyate, yogarudhasya tasyaiva samah karanamuchyate. One who reaches the final stage, then naturally he will stop doing yogam. Then Paramatma, then Lahiri Mahasal in North India says, Kriya karke karke kriya ke paravastha mein rahna. By doing karma again and again, not kriya, this outer karma. Kriya means kriya yogam. Here is siddha yogam. So by doing yogam, he will reach the state of yoga state, that is yoga tasyeva samah karanam uchyate. Yada chendriyas nendriyas nakarmashvanu sajjate nahi sankalpo yogi bhavate yada indriya sarva karma anusajjate sarva kalpa sankalpa sannyasis tadochate sarva sankalpa sannyasis tadochate. That means one who renunciates all these karmas inside sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudas tadochate. What is the state of yogaruda is here mentioning sarva sankalpa sannyasi, who has renounced all the sankalpas. Here sankalpa means not simply thoughtlessness, devoid of desires. Mostly we think that whatever we are doing, let us go to thoughtless state. You will never go to thoughtless state. Thoughtless state means the thoughtlessness of the world, but your mind will be working. Suppose if you want to become the ocean will be always having waves. But the only thing is, when you are at the beach, when you are affected with the waves, you feel that I should go inside. But even if you go inside also, when you become the ocean, but the waves will be going on coming. So here sarva sankalpa sannyasi means not just thoughtlessness. Here also most of the people are misunderstanding that I should go to samadhi and I should not have any thoughts in the mind. Never think like that. As long as you are as Jivan Mukta, your mind will always be working. Your mind will be always working. Only thing is, you will be in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. You will go to Savikalpa Samadhi and you will go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Even in these two states also, you will be moving with this body. That is the state of a yogi. This state, because nobody is doing yoga properly, actually everybody thinks that I should stop my breath, I should stop my thoughts. Never think like the sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogardas tadochate. Their sankalpa means desires. Dividing from the desires, he is called sarva sankalpa sannyasi. He is called yogarada sthiti, and that means he has reached the state of yogarudha. Arudha means climbing upwards. That is, he has gone to the topmost level of yogam. Then he is called yogarudha. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avsadet atmaye shatro bandhuratmaiva ripuratmanaha. This slokam should be underlined 3 times. This is very important. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avsadet atmaiva shatro bandhuratmaiva ripuratmanaha. Here, Uttudharet, most of the people in Telugu, even the Pandits, even the persons who are giving pravachananas, evarikavaru uddharinchukovali. Who is going to be uplifted by himself? How can he? There is a deep meaning in it. Uttudharet. Ut means upwards. Dharet means bearing and keeping at that Atma state. Keeping at Atma state is called Dharet, and Ut means upwards. Uddharet Atmanatmanam. Here in this 6th chapter, there will be so many number of times of Atma, that phrase of Atma, that word of Atma will be used in repeatedly. But nobody can understand what is the meaning of Atma. There are so many references for these Atmas, but in this 6th chapter, there are 3 meanings for this Atma. one word means Atmani means it is for yours. Atmani means yours. And another Atma is the soul, individual soul. The third Atma is the universal Paramatma. So for the three words also, the same word Atma is used in the 6th chapter. That's why it is called Atma Sanyama Yogam. Here Sanyama means the control of the mind is called Atma Sanyama Yogam. Uddhared Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avsadayet. Sri Krishna Paramatma says you have to take your life force. Here, what is the connection between the life force and the mind? That is also one should know. There are three terms, that is mind, life force and jiva, the soul. Usually you will come across these three words, that is jiva, mind and life force, pranam. Mind you, if you go into a deeper state, all these three are one and the same. Without having the same idea about these three things, you will be confused. Srushva vidvan manayeva jivo. Mind and the soul are one and the same. Prana bandhanam hi saumya manaha. That means the pranam and mind are totally linked. That is prana bandhanam hi saumya manaha. Sajiva pranayuktikto balagra satakalpitaha. The jiva itself is called pranam. So the pranam, life force, the jiva, the soul and the mind, all these three are one and the same. So what Sri Krishna Paramatma says is Uddhared Atmana Atmanam. Atmana Atmanam. That means your own mind, your life force. Na Atmanam Avasadayet. Don't allow it to come down. Don't allow it to come down means you have to admit that your life force has already come down. That force which has already come down through the expiration, you have to take it upwards. When you take it upward, if you go on clearing the passage, that will stay there. That will stay there. That is called Antakumbhakam. When it stays there, it won't come down. But Paramatma says, don't allow it to come down. That means, if you go on doing this pranayama, by churning the life force, there will be continuous evaluation of this Yogagni, the spiritual energy. That Agni, the Prana Shakti, will go upwards and stay there. That is called natural Kumbhakam. Na Atmanam Avsadayet means don't allow it to come down, means you have to do yogam to that extent that that force which has gone upwards will never come down again. That means there is a very possibility to come down again. That is a yogi who is doing practicing regularly, that is being experienced. So we will go upwards, but in due course that will come down. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaima ripuratmanaha. Here Atma means your own jiva. That means your prana shakti. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhur. When it goes upwards, it will become friend of you. What is meant by saying that a friend of you means a friend will always do good to you. So like that, when you go upwards, whatever you want, that will be achieved by you. You can achieve all portions. The main portion is getting bliss. So when you are getting bliss, bliss means that indicates that he is a friend of you. But Atma eva ripuratmanaha, when it goes down, he will become enemy to you. So there is no enemy or friend apart from you. Only thing is, if you take it upwards, that will become friend of you, and if you allow it to go down, that will become enemy to you. In the same fashion, in the 4th chapter, Lord Sri Krishna in Advaita state, Paritranaya sadhuna vinayasaya dushkatam dharma samsthapanadhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Here also, this dushta shikshana and shiksharashana is not done by any third person coming from outside, but that will be seen in the same yogi. When he goes upwards, he will be protected by himself, by Lord Sri Krishna. Means the Atma, that is Paramatma, is above, and the yogi is when he is downward, if he goes upward, he will be protected. He will become sadhu. And Vinasha Dushtita means one who allows the life force go downwards, he will become the Dushtitam. That in that way he will be destroyed. So in the Advaita state only we can understand that Uddhared Atmanatmanam Atmanam Avasadet Na Atmanam Avasadet Atma eva Atmano Bandhu Atma eva Viparatmanaha Bandhura Atma Atmanasya Enaiva Atmana Jitaha Anatmatva Shatrutve Tatet Atma Shatruvat. Here also the same meaning is telling. When you go there, when you conquer the mind, it will become friend of you, and if you cannot conquer, that will become enemy to you. Here also he is telling Jitatmana Prasanta Samatma Paramatma Samahita Shitoshna Sukuduste Dukkeshu Tadha Manava Manayo. One who goes Jitatmanaha, that means who conquered the mind. Here in the 6th chapter, not only in the 6th chapter, in the entire Bhagavad Gita, there will be number of repetitions that mind, senses, sensory objects, intellect and Atma, all these things will be repeatedly told. But the beauty of Bhagavad Gita is every slokam is unique. It is unique from other slokam also, but in the every slokam, all these words will be repeatedly told. Jitatmana prasantasya paramatma samahitaha. One who conquers the mind and he gets a peace of mind and he will get the equanimity of the mind. Like then he will bear the Shitoshna Sukadeshi Dukkeshu Sadha Manava Manayo. Whether it is pain or pleasure, or heat or cold, or honor or dishonor, all these things, these dualities he will bear. Why? Because he is enjoying inside. He is enjoying inside only. He will never bother about what is happening outside. Jnana Vijnana Truptatma Kotasto Vijitendriya Sarva Kotasto Vijitendriya Yukti Chuchata Yogi Samalostasma Kanchanaha. This is also an experience of yogi is going on. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Paramatma tells two states. One is who has already attained, who is Jivanmukta, the qualities of Jivanmukta, he will be going on explaining. And another state is one who is doing the sadhana, the qualities sadhaka will also be explained. Here, the yoga state is explaining. Jnana Vijnana Truptatma is totally satisfied. That means he has achieved the final state of both theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. He is totally subdued. He has totally attained the peak state of this Jnanam and Vijnanam. Jnana means Shastra Jnanam, Vijnana means Anubhava Jnana. That means experience. Practical knowledge. So, Jnana Vijnana Truptatma Kotasto Vijitendriya. Here he is mentioning about Kotam. Kotam means, there is a iron block that will be used for the goldsmiths, on which he will be going on hammering on the gold, and he will turn the gold into some ornaments. So, on the platform, on the face of the this Kotam, if he goes on hammering, the gold will be turned into ornaments, but the Kotam will never be changed. Like that, the Atma that is which is above, it is like a Kotam, that is called Kotastha Chaitanyam. That Kotastha Chaitanyam will be never moved, it will be always stabilized. But from that Atma only, every sorts of differences of creation will be coming. So, if you see a TV screen, on the TV screen you will be going on seeing number of pictures coming and going, but the screen will never change. Just like the screen, our Kotastha Chaitanyam that is in the Brahmajam will never be changed. In that way, yoga state achieved yogi. Jnana Vijnana Truptatma Kotasto Vijitendriya. He has already conquered the senses. Yukta ichuchyate yogi samaloshtasma kanchana. Here is also there is a detailed description in it. Yukta ichuchyate yogi. Yuktaha here means he has already merged his mind into Atma, in the mind into Paramatma. He is called Yukta. Yukta ichuchyate yogi samalostasma kanchana. Lost means mud. Asma means stone, Kanchana means gold. He will see equally both all these three things. See here also even for a jnani also, the shapes of this mud, stone and the gold, they will be looking different. They will be different only. But inside the mind, his mind is uniform and it is has got equilibrium state, but his mind will never work, but his eyes will see in a different way. The retina, the shapes of the all these three things, the mud, stone and the gold, these will be seen in a ignorant man, in a jnani also, the shapes will be the same, but the feeling is different. Suppose if you see a mirage, Marubhumau jaram sarvam marubhumatramev tat jagatrayamidam sarvam chinmatram savicharataha. In Mahopanishad it says, the mirage due to the sun rays at the mid sun, you will be seeing like water there in the road or in the just like when you see in the landscape, due to the sun rays, you will see that you will feel that there is water in it. That appearing like water will be seen both by jnani and the ajnani also. But the only thing is, the jnani will come to understand that it is nothing but mirage, but the ajnani will feel that there is some water. So appearance is same, but feeling is different. That is the thing difference between the samalostasma kanchanaha, jnana vijnana tattatma kotasto vijitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvan nalipyate. In the same fashion, the jnani, a yogi, will say suhrun mitra ari udasena majjasta dvesha bandhushu sadhushu papebhya samabuddhir visheshyate. He will see inside only. He will never see external things, external forms. Whether he is suhrut. Suhrut means a good person, a very good person who always do benefits to others, but he will never anticipate anything in return. He is called suhrut. The word is especially meant for Paramatma only. In the 5th chapter, suhrudam chaiva, like that